Sigmund Freud, the Austrian neurologist who founded psychoanalysis, proposed that most of our mental life operates below conscious awareness. The unconscious, he argued, is the true engine of human behavior, and we rarely have direct access to it. Freud described 3 levels of consciousness. The conscious mind holds what we're currently aware of. The preconscious stores memories we can retrieve on demand. The unconscious contains repressed desires, fears, and conflicts too threatening for conscious awareness. Freud's iceberg metaphor captures the idea perfectly. Conscious awareness is just the visible tip above water. The vast bulk of the iceberg, including our most powerful drives, lies hidden beneath the surface, shaping behavior without our knowledge. To access the unconscious, Freud developed free association, asking patients to say absolutely whatever came to mind without censoring. Hesitations, tangents, and surprising connections were treated as clues pointing toward buried conflicts. Freud divided the personality into 3 structures. The ID is the most primitive, present from birth, and operates entirely on the pleasure principle. It demands immediate gratification of drives like hunger, aggression, and sexuality, with no regard for reality. The ego develops from the ID as children encounter the real world. Operating on the reality principle, the ego finds realistic ways to satisfy the ID's demands. It manages the ongoing negotiation between raw impulse and external constraint. The superego represents internalized moral standards, the voice of parental authority transformed into conscience. It generates guilt when we violate our values and pride when we uphold them. The superego often demands impossible perfection. Psychological anxiety, in Freud's model, arises from the ongoing conflict among these 3 structures. When ID impulses threaten to overwhelm the ego's control, or when the superego's demands are too harsh, anxiety signals that the psychic system is under stress. To manage anxiety, the ego employs defense mechanisms, unconscious strategies that distort or deny reality. Freud identified many of these. His daughter Anna Freud later cataloged and expanded them into a comprehensive system. Repression is the most fundamental defense, blocking threatening thoughts, memories, or desires from ever reaching consciousness. Other defense mechanisms often work on top of repression to further protect the ego from uncomfortable truths. Projection involves attributing your own unacceptable thoughts or impulses to someone else. A person who harbors aggressive feelings might insist others are hostile. It's a way of externalizing an internal conflict that feels too threatening to acknowledge. Freud proposed 5 psychosexual stages of development: oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Each stage centers on a different erogenous zone. Unresolved conflicts at any stage lead to fixation, lingering psychological patterns carried into adulthood. The most controversial element is the Oedipus complex, the child's unconscious desire for the opposite-sex parent and rivalry with the same-sex parent during the phallic stage. Resolution of this complex, Freud claimed, shapes gender identity and moral development. The Neo-Freudians accepted the importance of the unconscious but significantly modified Freud's theory. Adler emphasized social motives and inferiority. Jung introduced the collective unconscious. Horney critiqued Freud's male bias and emphasized cultural factors. Carl Jung proposed that below the personal unconscious lies a collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of human experience expressed through archetypes. These recurring symbols and characters appear across cultures in myths, religion, and dreams. The most serious scientific criticism of psychoanalysis is that it lacks falsifiability. Freudian concepts can explain any outcome after the fact, but make no precise, testable predictions. Karl Popper famously used psychoanalysis as his prime example of pseudoscience. Despite devastating scientific criticism, Freud's legacy is undeniable. The concepts of unconscious motivation, defense mechanisms, and the talking cure have deeply shaped psychology, psychiatry, literature, and popular culture, permanently changing how we understand ourselves.